After what has been by far the most chaotic and unpredictable Stanley Cup playoffs we have witnessed in a while, we are down to our final two teams. We have the Nashville Predators, who are in their first Stanley Cup Final in franchise history. They've gotten there by sweeping the Blackhawks and getting the best out of the Blues and Anaheim Ducks. And it's been taking the NHL and the hockey community by storm. They've sent shockwaves all throughout hockey and its community. And we have the Pittsburgh Penguins, who are looking to do something that has not been done since the Redwings did it, and that is to win back-to-back Stanley Cup Championships. Who would you favor in this matchup? Well, I feel this is almost dead even, but I could kind of give a small edge to Nashville, at least in Game 1, because they will have had nearly a week of rest by the time this puck drops Monday night for Game 1. And if you're a Predators fan, you should be proud of how far this team has come. Whether they win or lose this final, it's been the best season that the Predators ever had. And if I recall that, I do believe that about a decade ago, Nashville was thinking about leaving that city to go somewhere else, or they were going to disband that franchise. So just look at how far the Predators have come. In the Pittsburgh Penguins, they have just flown through this gauntlet. Not having Chris Letang, not having Carl Hagelin, Chris Kunitz for the first round, not having Hornquist through the majority of the Eastern Conference Final, and bringing back Justin Schultz back in this lineup for Game 7. That was huge for the Penguins. A power play goal. Pretty big decision by Mike Sullivan tonight. And we've had the goalie confrontation, as we did last year, between Marc-Andre Fleury and Matt Murray. Which one should be the starter? Marc-Andre Fleury started off being the starter, but then that Game 3 debacle, Mike Sullivan put in Matt Murray, and he started him for Games 4 and 5, 6, 7. And it's been quite a good decision that Mike Sullivan's made so far. And some Penguins fans I saw on social media had mixed emotions. Others think it was a good move to put Matt Murray in there. Others think it was a mistake. And Penguins fans are saying the only reason the Penguins even made it to the Eastern Conference Final was because of Marc-Andre Fleury. And that is half kind of true. Kind of true 50%. Kind of 50% not true. It's been most our defensemen. Trevor Daley stepped up, even though he's also been dealing with different injuries in the playoffs. Crosby even had a concussion, missed Game 4. Brian Rust missed a couple of games in the second round. So these Penguins are beat up more than Nashville. Nashville's a little bit beat up, but Pittsburgh is beat up a little bit more. So both these teams had to overcome obstacles in these playoffs. And it's been impressive to watch. Anyway, let's get to a couple of keys. As I kind of went over just a second ago, Game 1 is going to be a huge key for both teams. Game 1 could decide who wins and who loses this series. Because Nashville's going to have nearly a week of rest by puck drop, while Pittsburgh will probably only have maybe close to about 2 days of rest. Your goaltending is going to be a key as well. Pekka Rinne on the Predators. Most likely Matt Murray on the Penguins. But still, some fans think that Marc-Andre Fleury should be the starter. And plus, this is kind of a clue that maybe the Penguins are going to trade Marc-Andre Fleury at the season's end, because he has the no-move clause, so they can ensure that Matt Murray is protected in the Vegas expansion draft. But that is another video for another day. Right now, we got to focus on the Stanley Cup Final at hand. So you got Pekka Rinne on the Predators, Matt Murray, most likely, on the Penguins side. And both these goaltenders have been unbelievable. Pekka Rinne, I've been saying this plenty of times, that Pekka Rinne has been probably the best goaltender in these entire playoffs. The most underrated goalie in the NHL, in my opinion. And Matt Murray, who just turned 23 today. Well, kind of yesterday, since it's probably nearly 2 in the morning in Pittsburgh right now. But still, that's going to be a huge key. And your third key is which team could score the first goal. We kind of saw that all throughout the Eastern Conference Final between the Penguins and Senators. Which team what the first goal is going to be important. And the team that scored the first goal was 6-1. And 6 out of the 7 games of the Eastern Conference Final, the game was won by the team that scored the first goal. So that's going to be a huge key considering how great both these goaltenders have been. Another key is going to be who can stay out of the penalty box. Because the Penguins' power play has been, in a way, on the rise these last 4 games. And the Predators, they don't have a bad power play either. The Predators have guys that can shoot goals. James Neal had the game winner in Game 1 against Anaheim. They got Alberg, who had the game-winning goal in Game 5. PK Subban, he can also shoot. On the Penguins, Jake Guentzel is going to be really hungry for a goal. He went the entire Eastern Conference Final without a goal. In fact, I believe that is an 8-game goalless game. That's 8 straight games without scoring a goal for Jake Guentzel. And he is tied with the most goals throughout the whole NHL playoffs with 9. And of course, the experience of Crosby and Malkin, Kunitz. It's going to be a huge advantage for Pittsburgh, considering that the Penguins know what they're going to be up against. They've been there, done that. So that is going to be an ultimate advantage. Anyway, let's get to the predictions. Game 1, I like to go to Nashville. Game 2, I like to go into Pittsburgh. I think both these games, in perspective, could easily go to overtime. I could see it being like 3-2 or 2-1. I don't see any 1-0 games. I think both teams are at least going to crack the goaltenders a little bit throughout the first 2 games. So, games 1 and 2 are going to be 1-1 apiece. Game 3, I like that to go to Nashville. Game 4, I like to go to Pittsburgh. So right now we're at 2 apiece. Heading back to the Berg for Game 5. I like that to go to Pittsburgh as well. In Game 6, the Penguins once again clinch the Stanley Cup on the road in Nashville. Like I said, the experience of Crosby, Malkin, Kunitz, and all the other Penguins from the team last year, it's going to be it's going to help them a bunch. It's going to give them a huge advantage and big enough of an edge to win the Stanley Cup and to repeat as champions. However, if Nashville did end up winning the series, I would not be surprised. I think if Nashville ends up winning the series, it's going to be either Pekka Rinne steals one of the games in Pittsburgh, or steals probably Game 5, or he steals Game 6, or even 7 if the Predators can force 7 games. Or it's going to be that the Predators just outmatch the Penguins. Anyway, that is the Stanley Cup Final prediction. Leave your comments in the comment section down below. Leave your thoughts on who you think is going to win and how many games it's going to take. Follow me on Twitter at JB Talk Sports. We have another championship prediction video to make, and that's the NBA Finals. So I will see you then.